Good Thursday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather. Congratulations, you made it to Thursday. It's almost Friday. That's another way to describe Thursday, I suppose. And we're not dealing with too many issues today in terms of fog. I like to check that first thing in the morning. Visibility is 10 miles and 6 miles there in Jacksboro, so there are not, or does not appear to be, much in the way of concern there. But it is warmer in the morning. Many of us are starting off in the low to mid 60s. There are some exceptions. I'm looking at Middlesboro at 57, Jacksboro will follow at 59, and it's 59 in Oneida. If you're waking up this morning with a little more humidity, don't be surprised. We have 63 right now in Maryville, 65 in Oak Ridge, and 60 in Crossville. If you're on the call, let me know. I want to share your voice, put maybe even on the screen here, as I've been experimenting with some new technology that I've had, and maybe not new technology, but new to me. 63 the current temperature in Rockwood, 60 in Crossville, and 66 in Athens. These are our current numbers here this morning, here on a Thursday. And yes, the dew point temperature, which is a good measurement of the humidity, has come up a little bit too. They're in the 60s. We are in the 60s. They're at McGee-Tyson at 63. Still not that bad when you see upper 50s in Jamestown, Fentress County. But where you see a 66 in Athens, it certainly feels a little more humid than it was just a day ago. So something to take into consideration. You will find a stickier day here on a Thursday. By the way, we take a look at the ultimate Doppler radar presented by our local Marco's Pizza. You'll notice that things are pretty dry outside of maybe a little humidity in the air. And we mentioned the fog is really not much of an issue whatsoever. But as we take a look at the ultimate Doppler radar, we have a dry scan. Nothing to see here. We could also talk about the fact that lunch this afternoon may seem appealing if you're checking out their website, marcos.com. They've got Hardin Valley and Farragut locations. They've got a location in Maryville and Fountain City. Locations in Halls, Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, and Ebenezer Road. Check them out. They're under new ownership, new leadership, and better than ever. No Kid Hungry. They're also corporate sponsors of No Kid Hungry, so they give back quite a bit to the local community. And if you may be interested in a large pepperoni pizza, they call that the Pepperoni Magnifico, or at least one of them anyway. Check them out for less than $10, and the new Pizzoli for less than $6. May I recommend the pepperoni and sausage? You might like the buffalo chicken, or even the chicken bacon ranch. Lots of good flavors, lots of different varieties to experiment. By the way, the radar is showing quiet weather here. Mentioned the fact that there was going to be some nasty weather in parts of the country yesterday in the upper plain states. Last I checked, as I'm looking at some notes here, we had in the U.S., the lower 48, 0 tornadoes, but we had 66 reports of large hail in Minnesota. Minnesota got their share of severe weather yesterday, but clearly not a tornado to have been reported. That's good news. We hit 85 yesterday. Officially, I was expecting 86. Normal high, 85. Normal low, 65 today. The record high, 96, 1958. Maybe tough, turns out, for us to hit the 91-degree mark today. I have lowered my expectation to 89. I know it's semantics, it's just a 2-degree difference, but mentally it may delay the onset of the heat wave that we have coming our way. If you're on the call, I'd love to say good morning to you. Fred says good morning, David. Here comes the heat. Yeah, it's going to be hotter today. No question about that. The record high, again, as I mentioned, is 96 from 1958. Our record low this morning is 42, going back to 1903. I do see a little patch of orange back there toward Kansas City. That represents a heat advisory. It's just south of Omaha, where a lot of folks will be focused their attention with the College World Series. Of course, Vols, I believe their first pitch is 7 o'clock tomorrow night. That is Friday night, so Omaha may be certainly a lot hotter than we are, but they are also going to be dealing with potentially severe weather on Saturday. We'll talk about that coming up here momentarily. But this is the big picture. Clearly, there's some activity here, as you can see, back toward Florida. They've been pounded. Some areas of Florida have picked up 8 to 12 inches of rain. Can you imagine? 8 to 12 inches of rain has fallen across parts of South Florida, and that's a storm that hasn't even had a name. It's a no-name storm, which we'll examine here from the Hurricane Center outlook here in just a few moments. Temperatures, again, if you're waking up in the mid-60s, don't be surprised. Believe it or not, they're already at 70 in Chattanooga, down there in Hamilton County, excuse me. Hamilton County is at 70, while it's 64 in Memphis, back towards Shelby County. Music City's coming in at 62 degrees here this morning. And if you need more evidence that the humidity is there, take a look at the bigger picture, as I believe I have that here. There it is. You'll see that dew points are in the 60s in Morristown. They're in the 60s in Newport, Maryville, and where you find 60s, they are typically associated with the stickier air. Bad hair days are upon us, as they'll be with us for quite some time. Tracking the clouds, not a whole lot to see here. I'm noticing a few areas that might have some patches of some cloud cover, but if we see a spot of rain in the Smokies today, don't be surprised. That would be developing over time. No wind really to speak of, and thankfully no much wind has not given us any much in the way of fog, but the fog issue may come back as we head further down into the week as the humidity will continue to rise. Dew points are very comfortable in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, but you can see some areas in green down toward Atlanta, Chattanooga. Certainly the humidity is trying to ease back into the picture. Checking in on YouTube. I want to check in with you if you got a comment. Fred's on YouTube. He's on Facebook, excuse me, talking about the heat that's coming. Also have on YouTube, if you have a comment, let me know. Love to share with you. In fact, I may be able to put Fred's comment on the screen. I think I have that ability now. Let's see if I can do that, because I'm trying to multitask and do the same exact thing that I did before. Let me see here. See if we can pop this on. Let's see. Yeah, I think we can put this on. Did he show up on the screen? I think he may have, or soon will. Oops, I may have to put that back on there. I think I could put that back on here. I'm still practicing my skills here on the... let's see here, put this back on here. Let's go back over here. Checking back. Oops. Did I miss that? I may have messed that up. Let me go back and change that and turn that off, because certainly that's causing some issues with my other system. I'll tell you what, I am a work in progress here, but I think I can get this fixed, hopefully. Let's see here. Let me clear this and see if this will change things up a bit. Bear with me. I hope I can fix this up here. I think I can. We'll see if I can change this off and turn this back off. We'll see if this goes back. Anyway, temperatures, clearly, maybe not holding on there. Anyway, the Captain Accurate Weather app, presented by, of course, Pete Michaels Traffic and yours truly. I would love to have you check that out. If I could get this back on and running, I'll tell you what, my technology did not do me any favors, because I'm having a hard time getting this back over to the other scene here. Let's see here. Yep, I'm having definite issues with the system. I'll tell you what, I love technology until it doesn't work, right? That's the problem. Sometimes it doesn't always work, and then you have to, there it is. I've come back to task here. There we finally have come back online. All right, so here's our situation for our dew points. They are very comfortable in the yellow areas, but where you see some green is certainly not helping much in that regard. Let me see if I can switch gears. All right, so the humidity factor will be a factor as we head through the upcoming Father's Day weekend. You can see it ebbing and flowing through the course of the next couple of days. This is Friday, tomorrow morning. A lot of humidity in Knoxville, also back through Nashville. And then we slide into Saturday itself. It's going to be very sticky as well. So if you're not a fan of the humidity, you're just going to have to be patient. It is the summer season. It is time for the humidity air, or high humidity, to stick around for much of the upcoming weekend. For today, I anticipate a high of 89. It's going to be hotter than it was yesterday, because yesterday we hit 85, and it will be hazy, but lots of sunshine. Make sure you pack the sunglasses. We're still seeing some high, thin cirrus clouds at this moment. I see a note from Wanda Poe. She says, please drink a lot of water. Got a note here. Wanda says, she's saying, I believe, she says, drink plenty of water if outside, and water your animals also. Very good suggestion. Very good idea, Wanda. Thank you for reminding us, because I think we oftentimes need to be able to take into account the heat. There we go. I'll tell you what, I'm learning some of the ins and outs of my system as I've added some new toys here. 6:19 is when the sun did come up today. It'll be setting at 8:53, so we've got some very long days, and those long days will be upon us right through the 20th of June, because that's the summer solstice. Summer solstice is a Thursday. That's a week from today, and that officially occurs at 4:50 in the afternoon. That's the astronomical time when summer will officially begin, although many of us will feel like it's already here today and tomorrow. By the way, out the door, 65 at 6 here, 75 at 10, should reach about 86 by 2 o'clock. And here are my high temperatures. Again, some may hit 90. I don't want to exclude you if you're in Athens or Tellico Plains, because you have a good chance of hitting 90, 91 there, and may even hit 90 where Wanda Poe is in Cock County, in Newport. But only 85 is what I expect for Crossville in the heart of Cumberland County, and 88 in La Follette. I have us at 89 for both Oak Ridge and Knoxville. Notice there's a lot more color to this map from our friends at the National Hurricane Center. Not a whole lot going on off the coast of Africa. I did post a Sahara Desert dust animation last night. There's quite a bit of dust coming off of Africa, so we may not see much, and it's not, usually it's later in the season we get some storms potentially off of Africa, but we're going to dealing with more up close and personal potential tropical weather. A 20% chance that the rainmaker that just affected South Florida could become a named storm, and that could be Alberto. But they've doubled the chance for a spot that's down in the southern part of the Gulf of Mexico, a 40% chance, and this would be a very slow mover. I can't emphasize how, I mean, like over the next 7 to maybe 14 days, it could just sit there and park itself here, and eventually it'll blow back into maybe the Houston area with some heavy rains. But the heart of this storm, seemingly right now, seems like it's going to head due west, and so eventually it'll affect more in the way of the higher terrain of Mexico. And there's also a 20% chance there south of Mexico for another storm in the Pacific. If you look at the big scheme of things, today being the 13th, tomorrow's Flag Day, the 14th, but 13th of June, that's usually when we start to see an uptick, right? The little yellow line that starts to rise there in the middle of June, that's not uncommon. This is usually when we start to see more activity in the Atlantic Basin as far as hurricane season. Obviously, we don't have a hurricane yet, but it does usually peak around Labor Day. Usually August and September are your biggest or busiest months. It's usually when you can also get a great deal on a cruise. Probably for obvious reasons, it may not be the best time to take a cruise or even have a beach vacation around Labor Day. But you do what you have to do. If that's the only time you have off, just know that there's usually more of an uptick in hurricane activity at that time. And here's another picture I thought would be interesting to show you as we head down toward Florida. I mentioned they picked up about 8 to 12 inches of rain in some areas in South Florida, and this would suggest that little 20% storm, that 20% chance of a storm, could be producing more rain maybe over the Bahamas and areas off the coast. So is this going to be a great weekend for the beach? You be the judge. You decide, because I'll tell you what, even though it doesn't have a name in quotation marks, it could slow things down quite a bit over time there. Just want to come back on camera and say hi to you. I see Wanda. She's on YouTube, on Facebook. If we got another comment, Fred's on here. Fred's saying, here comes the heat. I'd love to share your voice if you have an observation here on a Thursday as we talk a little bit there and summarize the hurricane situation. Headlines, hazy, more humid today. It's now 6:53. I'll be done in 7 minutes or less. More heat and humidity in view. And I think the hottest day over the next couple will come in on Father's Day. So dear old dad may want a cool, refreshing beverage, something to cool him down as well on Father's Day. Maybe he's fishing in the shade this upcoming Sunday. 65. Current temperature at McGee Tyson, our dew point, is 63. That gives us a ratio, a humidity percentage there of 93%. No wind at the moment. Pressure is at 30 inches. We have a valley planner that takes us at least near 90. Some of us in the viewing area in the Southern Valley have a better chance to get 90, and that's in the shade. I know it may be academic, but if you're outside, it's going to feel every bit of 90 plus when you factor in the heat and humidity. So it's hazy, it's hotter, a bit more humid, certainly from where we were earlier in the week. Precipitation chances, I don't have any, but I do on a voice that there's a chance that the Smokies could get a stray shower today, and maybe even in some of the higher terrain in Kentucky near Harlan County. We'll be watching that closely. Meanwhile, the Futurecast shows the warmth that's just going to continue to spin in here. We have southwesterly winds developing over time, but it's going to get cooler in the northeast. And you can see here illustrated in blue, moving across Michigan, moving across cooler air into Buffalo, Montreal, and New York City. That's Flag Day. There's Saturday. It does stop short of Tennessee, it would appear, but it will be cooler on Saturday as compared to, I think, it is on Sunday. Sunday, we're going to get rid of the cool air, and it gets really warm as we head forward in time. Also, I want to show you real quick, the thought of 90s can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming for those that are not a fan of the humidity. So if you're thinking of a mid to late June snow vacation, I know what you're thinking. That's nuts. Well, how about nuts like 30 or 40 inches of nuts? If you go to the mountains of Montana, they may very well pick up 40 inches of snow in Montana in mid to late June. So if you're thinking that snow doesn't exist in the middle of June, Think again, this kind of weird summer, as it would appear. We've had cold air across parts of Canada. It is cold enough to produce snow in feet in parts of Idaho and Montana and Washington State. This may be par for their course, but thankfully it's not par for our course. I just point that out because some of us might want to visit Montana, but may not have thought snow would have been part of the June landscape. Storm Prediction Center here at 6:55. Want to cover some more comments and thoughts that you might have. Share them with me. We're going to talk about Omaha, too, because college baseball, the World Series, really gets underway for Tennessee on Friday. This is today's map, and it's not far from Omaha. Omaha may have an isolated severe storm in green, but the yellow would be scattered, and the orange, Peoria, Illinois, St. Joseph, and Kansas City, may have downed trees or power outages or even tornadoes. Chicago is going to be very unsettled today if you had a flight in and out of O'Hare Airport. St. Louis may get some isolated storms today, as could Detroit. Looks like even Denver, areas east of Denver especially, also unsettled weather. Things look really quiet here and will continue to be so in the foreseeable future. Severe risk for Friday does put outside of Omaha. Chance for some thunderstorms there. That's the Friday, the game day. We got some nasty weather potentially east of Cheyenne and into parts of northern Nebraska, northern Kansas, southern Nebraska. And also the I-95 corridor could be very active, especially further north toward Allentown and back toward Boston. They may have some isolated severe storms in Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, but scattered in yellow. Scattered severe storms in yellow. Pittsburgh would be isolated as well. And then thunderstorms on Friday might be a stretch for Knoxville, but certainly areas around Bowling Green, north of Jellicoe, and even the Smokies may be fair game for that. But this is something to point out. Omaha is under the risk, a level 1 for Saturday. So for any Saturday baseball games in Omaha, might have to watch this as well very closely. Thank you for being here. I want to say again, a shout out to Fred. Looking over here on the other comments. Wanda says, are we in a fire danger? Maybe not yet. We're always wanting to be mindful. It's a very good reminder, Wanda. Be mindful that burning is not advised when winds are light and relative humidity is low. But at this point, relative humidity is coming back up because of all the humid air that's in place. Bismarck, North Dakota, Saturday has the risk for some isolated severe storms. But as we mentioned, Saturday will be nice for us. In this regard, we have no severe weather, but temperatures on Saturday generally in the upper 80s to near 90 on Saturday. Here's the future cast for today. High pressure's anchored over West Virginia. That's going to bring in a flow of air over the Smokies, which is why they may have some convergence or a little passing shower developing over time. This is how the models see it. I don't think it's this aggressive. I think a lot of this is radar or model noise, but from Roanoke back toward Bryson City, there may be a spot of rain or even some drizzle may be found in the Smokies as early as midday today. Once we move into 5 o'clock, much of that will begin to close down, will begin to shut down, and then by 11 o'clock tonight, we're clearing out very nicely, and temperatures tomorrow should start off around 67. Notice on Friday, we have an approaching front, but most of the models bring it into Bowling Green, and then it goes poof. It just falls off. By, say, Friday afternoon, this rain moves into drier air, in quotation marks, and it really is not much of a factor. Like so. Comes in with a whimper, so I'm not expecting thunderstorms to occur, but as we saw from the Storm Prediction Center, they think we're still fair game for some of that activity. I think it would be more prone for the Smokies than it would be for us here in the Valley. Sunday, Father's Day, a hot day indeed, as we'll find temperatures climbing up into the mid-90s. I don't have showers and storms here on Sunday because we have a system off the coast of the Carolinas and Georgia that might actually keep us from getting wet on Sunday. My future cast looks like this. We go to midday today. It's already 83. 83 degrees. Now we'll jump another 6, probably another 6 degrees by 5 o'clock. There it is, 89. But that would be about 4 degrees warmer than today. This model takes us to 90, but keeps Oak Ridge around 89. By 6 o'clock tonight, we're still in the mid to upper 80s. By 8 o'clock, of course, the sun sets now at 8:53. It's still in the 77-degree range at 11 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow it's hazy, hot, and humid. Temperatures tomorrow could very well reach the lower 90s for many of us, so be prepared for a hotter day on Friday. Friday, for sure, should begin the quote-unquote heat wave as we have it set up for this 7-day forecast. So let's get to that. It's now 7 o'clock, straight up 89. So what I expect today, hazy, hotter, a bit more humid. Winds will pick up 5 to 10 out of the southwest. If you're in Kingston, if you're in Von Orr, you have a good shot to be around 90 today. 91 for Athens, 90 for Newport. I have us at 88 for Morristown, Talbot, and White Pine. So some numbers on my screen here would represent my expectations for today. Clearly, some changeable weather is possible with the variability. I mean, Crossville's only 85 today. That's what I expect. If you're traveling west, Nashville should easily hit 93 today. If you're headed to Atlanta, 91. And if you were headed far to the north, up towards, say, Lexington, Kentucky, wouldn't surprise me if they're around 87 today. So they'll be in the mid to upper 80s in Fayette County there in Kentucky. Something to keep an eye on there. If you've got a comment, let me know, as it's 7:01. Want to get to tonight's forecast. Looking for a low of 67. It's going to be sticky, and any scattered clouds that we have towards sunset will clear out pretty quickly. Variable winds 0 to 5, down to 66 for Oak Ridge and Clinton first thing tomorrow morning. 65 for Newport. Sevierville, Pigeon Forge about 64. Looking for a low in La Follette, and also Oneida in the low to mid 60s to start your Friday morning. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast for Knoxville, East Tennessee. 93 on Friday. 91 on Saturday. Keep in mind, the hottest day it looks like right now is Sunday at Father's Day. And then even on Monday, well, the chance of rain isn't all that great. It would occur very late in the afternoon with the heating of the day. So a 30% chance of showers and storms come in on Monday. And it's not area-wide. It's like somebody gets it, most of us don't. Tuesday, spotty showers and storms, and then again on Wednesday. So it's a typical summer pattern. Maybe a typical heat wave pattern in summer where you get more heat and humidity than you do get rain showers. It's just one of those situations. The pendulum has swung, and it's beginning to swing in a bigger way across the board. By the way, if you haven't picked up the Captain Accurate Weather app, I hope you'll do so. I hope you'll also keep that next to your, keep that in mind, along with your NOAA Weather Radio, which is a fantastic investment to have, because a NOAA Weather Radio works in all kinds of situations and weather hazards. Weather apps are great until maybe the cell phone tower gets hit by nasty winds. Like if a tornado occurs, you may not get the information from the app. Sometimes people don't always think that through. So it's always good to have multiple sources of information. But in normal times, when things are working and all things are considered, take into consideration the Captain Accurate Weather app with Pete Michaels Traffic. I mentioned it with my full screen there a moment ago. You get all the National Weather Service alerts plus 3 extras, plus the lightning alerts, which can be very helpful, especially in summer when you might be at the beach. Maybe you're at the neighborhood pool or perhaps at the lake this summer. Having the lightning alerts are very, very helpful. By the way, if you'd like some extra information that goes beyond the next 7 days, I have a Captain Accurate premium service, which you will love if you are a planner. You'd like to know what's going on for 4th of July weekend. We've been talking about that for what seems like days, if not weeks. Been talking about mid-July now. We're beyond the 30-day outlook here. First, to see every forecast, if you're a premium member, you're also getting more Facebook Lives and fewer ads if you were to join us on Captain Accurate Premium, and it's very affordable. The best bargain, weather bargain in town, in my view. It's just $4.99 a month. You can get it for 16 cents a day, and I average about 15 to 20 posts per day. So you're getting extra weather information that you may not be getting anywhere else. And all you have to do is hit the subscribe button at the top of this Facebook page. Well, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.